This thing right here is my 1983 Mark 1 Golf, and if you haven't seen them yet, I have about 4 episodes on it with me restoring the whole car, well, restoring the outside, fixing rust and just painting it back into the factory white color. Now it's finally time to start with the underside, start with the suspension and get this thing ready for its engine and to go back on the road. So in this episode, in this video, I'm gonna be taking apart all the suspension, cleaning up the underside, sealing it all back, putting all new bushings and suspension parts in it and getting it ready to actually start driving, hopefully in a month or two. Anyways, let's get it up in the air and let's start from the back. This is the first time I've actually taken this apart and finally got to take a look at the arches, and they seem pretty good. There's some surface rust, but it seems all strong, so we're doing good. I'll have to clean everything up, see what's underneath, but I think we're good, except this hole here. I'm not sure if it's like that or if that's rust, but I'll see once I take off the other side. This side looks as clean as the other one, maybe even cleaner, and there's just a bunch of things growing in it, but I'll cut everything out. This is probably from when it was sitting at my mom's place just in a field, so yeah, happy to say arches look good. Okay, both sides are off with the brakes. Got the brake lines out, the emergency like e-brake lines, those. And now it's time to drop it. Finally it's out. Hopefully you can hear me over my neighbor's mowing, but I was really expecting at least one stud to break and nothing broke, which is amazing, and I'm really happy about it. So now what I have to do is clean up the whole rear beam, paint it, prep it, and then prep the car, paint it, well, protect it, underbody seal, everything, and basically start putting it together. Now what I have to do is just clean out the beam, paint it and prep it to get back into the car later. Now that the beam is out, I can take a look at the mountings, because these tend to get rusty. My old GTD Mark 1 used to be rusty right here, everything was falling apart. It's nice to see that these ones are pretty good. There is some surface rust around here, but it's not really that bad. The other side is a little bit worse, but still this is mostly surface rust. This is a bit worse, but not that bad. There's rust here, but this doesn't affect the structural rigidity of the mount, so that's okay. There's also rust here on the inner seal, but again, not structural, so it should be okay. Yeah, I'm gonna clean all this out and protect it from rusting again, and hopefully it lasts another 40 years. The main part is still healthy and good, except underneath. So this piece is kind of a bit rotted. There's a few holes, and over here, so here's the mount, over here we got some holes, so this has gotten really thin, which is definitely not ideal. This one I think I want to repair because seems kind of important, and this I also want to repair. The proper way would be to cut this out and take this piece off and then weld it and then weld this back on, but that's a bit too advanced for me, so what I think I'm gonna do is just weld, clean this as much as possible. I sprayed a rust converter inside as much as I could through this hole, and also through these holes. And now I think I'm gonna get a welder and just weld a piece here, just to kind of cover it, add strength, and hopefully that's then strong enough. Well, even like this, it's quite strong. On my old GTD, this used to be all rotted and kind of smashed in, so that's also one of the reasons why I sold it. But yeah, I think this is still quite healthy and okay, especially since this car is not going out in rain and there's not much salt on the roads around here, so it should be fine for a long time. We need to get a welder and get working. I really don't know how to weld well, but it doesn't seem that complicated, so might give it a shot. So it's been a few days since I took everything apart. Now I need to start cleaning the wheel wells and then move on to the underside of the car. But before I start doing that, I need to get the filler neck out, and I need to change that also, replace it, because it's rotten at the top, so I can't really run a cap over. So now I just need to take this out, also take this shield out. There's a few hoses that run up to the filler neck, I don't know if you can see it. So I need to take all of this out before I can start cleaning. So let's do that. Now I'm gonna go through and just spray it with rust converter, and then later on we can protect it all. This side looks a lot better. There are no visible rust spots, so that's nice. There's nothing bent or out of shape. This side was all covered before because here is where the tank line goes, and there's a piece of plastic that covers it all, so this is all good, it's just dirty. But still, I'm gonna go in with the grinder, clean it up and see if maybe there is some rust, just to take care of it. Okay, so I cleaned out the other side and it's basically perfect. There was some rust here. You can see this is falling apart a little bit, just the edge. From here on it's quite good, but the edge was rusty. But I have the arch, the plastic arches that go over it, so it won't even be visible, which is nice. And yeah, I cleaned all of this because I know they tend to rust here. The edges, they're all good. So yeah, everything is nice. I'm still gonna spray it with rust converter and then throw on the paint later on, and then the underbody protection seal, whatever it is called, the thick black stuff. The welds are ugly, but they went through, so it's solid again, and that's nice. There should be nothing else to weld, so that's fine. And now, this morning, I washed the whole underside of the car with the pressure washer, and now I'm just gonna go through, make sure everything's dry, and then I can underbody seal the whole rear end. Everything's covered, it's nice and safe. Basically that's it. Okay, so now that the back of the car is ready to accept the new parts, I need to prepare the rear beam, which is right here. It has a little bit of surface rust. I'm just gonna give it a quick sand and then spray paint it, and basically that's it. But before I do that, I want to change the bushings on where the rear beam mounts, and these are quite cracked and definitely not the best. So I'll try to drill them out and then go to a friend's place and press them in, because here I don't have a press to press the new ones in, and it's gonna be a pain to do without a press. Okay, I got it as clean as I could, and now it's just time to throw some paint on it. I'm gonna throw a coat of zinc primer and then just some black paint to cover it up, and that's it. As for the rest of the parts, I have a bunch of parts here that I was missing. Okay, these are not for the Golf. This is for a different project. If you recognize the lights, drop a comment below. I still need tail lights for the Golf, so I need to find those. So this is the filler neck tube that was rotted on mine, and I'm happy I managed to find this one brand new. I ordered it from Germany and also got a brand new gas cap with it. I also got some winders for the windows, which were missing, and I got the bushings for what I was just talking about for the rear beam. So these are the bushings. I will just have to press them in and then it's ready to go in. Oh, I got a rear view mirror, but I only got the left one. I need to get the right one, but yeah, it's the small cheap plastic mirrors for the Golf. So now I'm cleaning these back plates for the rear brakes. It's drum brakes, and I've cleaned one already, so it's much better. And afterwards I just need to get some high temperature paint, because normal paint might melt because these are brakes and they get quite hot. But yeah, now it's time to clean this one. And also I need to buy all the springs and stuff to put this back together. So this is the old brakes. You see all these springs I don't have. I do have the braking pads, which are right here, and these are brand new, but I thought I would get the springs with them as well, which I did not, so I have to go buy those. Okay, I'm done with the beam and it's decent. Definitely not the best, but good enough. I managed to take quite a bunch of rust off, and tomorrow I'm gonna paint it with the same paint I used for the wheels, which I still have left off. I think it's this one. And yeah, should be enough for the full thing. Okay, so yesterday I filled the tank with white vinegar just to clean it out and take out all the rust. And now I have to rinse it back with baking soda to make sure it doesn't flash rust in the next day or two. So basically what I'm gonna do now is pour out the vinegar, rinse it with water, and then rinse it with baking soda a couple of times to make sure it's clean. So let's go do that. Okay, so the tank is ready to go back into the car. I already ran the two fuel lines that go from the car to the top of the tank. So these two go up through the hole. That's the tank sensor, and basically that's it. So I'm gonna start putting it back into the car. Okay, I made a very stupid mistake. I forgot to connect these two. This is a breather hose and this is a hose that goes up to the filler neck. So I'm running those now, and then I'm gonna put it back in, but I won't show you that because it's basically the same thing. Okay, so the tank is in nicely, the fuel lines are ran, and the two other lines are right here, which will be going into here. So this is the filler neck, the new one, which goes in here, and then I'm gonna have to connect it up here to the gas tank. It's time to put the rear beam on. I already prepared it by putting the brake lines back on. So now it's time to bolt the mounts back in the car and then bolt it back in. I have the mounts ready with the new bushings, and they go right here, and then the beam goes through the bushing and all across. Okay, stupid mistake. I need to put these bolts through the mounts and mount it to the actual subframe, well, the beam, because when the mounts are in the car, there's no way to put this bolt through and get access to bolt it down. So I'm gonna bolt it down now and then put it in the car. Okay, both mounts are ready, and now we can go into the car. Now I need to put the suspension back in. This is the old suspension, but I don't really want to use it, so I got some coilovers because the car obviously needs to be low. Just need to transfer the top caps from the old suspension to the new one, and then we can put it back in. So unfortunately I ran into an issue where this brake line for the handbrake is broken, is missing a part on here, which I'll show you on the other side. So I won't be able to finish it right now. The next step would be just to put the brakes back together, put the bearings on, and put the drum over everything, and then I should be done. But until I change these brake lines, I'm stuck. So I'll go check if I can buy those today. If not, I'll order them and wait for them for a few days. Until I finish this, I can't do the front because I don't have enough bricks to prop up the front. I don't have axle stands. I should invest in those, but yeah, anyways, until I finish the rear, I can't start with the front. So here's how the brake line should look with this part. So when you fit it through this, it actually stops right here, but on the other side that whole thing is missing, so it just goes through all the way, which is not ideal. Okay, I got the new brake lines, so let's put those in. Ran the lines, and now it's time to put this back together. So here I have the brand new pads, which are the same as the old ones, and luckily when I pulled the old ones off, I pulled it all together, so I can use this as a template to how to put this back together. So I have everything here. I think I'm gonna have to disassemble them just to take this metal part off because it's not in the rebuild set. So yeah, let's get that onto here so we can put the hub and everything back together. Pain, I got lost a couple times, so I just didn't record and focused on putting it back together, but yeah, it's all back together now. So how I'm going about this is I put these springs on without it being on the shoe, so off. Then I connect the brake line, and then I just fight it to put it onto the actual drum. And now that it's in, I lock it in with the locking pins. the wheels are on, and it seems that fitment will be pretty good as is. I still have the spacers to put in, 2mm spacers, but I don't really think it's gonna need it. I don't know, we'll see now when we lower the car. Got the car down and it's quite low, but it can go more, so yeah. Look at the difference. The front is not even jacked up, it's just no engine and stock suspension, so this is a crazy difference. I can't wait to get the front down as well on the wheels and everything. And the fitment is actually kind of perfect. It might rub here, maybe I'll roll the fenders, I don't know, we'll see. But I do really like it, so yeah, I think it's going to be nice. With that, the back of the car is done, so this video is done. In the next video we're gonna be doing the whole front end, and then after that I just got an engine, gearbox and everything I need to actually finish the car. So once we do the front end, once we do the engine, I'm gonna throw another coat of paint on the actual chassis because this is not ideal, and then the car will be done. So yeah, honestly can't wait. Maybe it's gonna take maybe another month or so, which is not that bad. Hopefully the weather keeps being this nice, because if it gets worse it's gonna be much harder to do it. But if the weather keeps being nice, we don't have much time left to finish the car, so can't wait. See you in the next video.